And welcome. Hello and welcome, everybody, to the Seeds of Change information webinar, if you like. Thank you. It's always super appreciative to see so many people joining and so many people interested in this program. And yeah, we don't take it lightly that you give up your time, which is so valuable, to come in and to sit with us and to look at being principal partners with Food Lovers Market. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I am just staring at a slide at the moment. So I'm actually going to stop sharing for 1 second. And I'm going to ask, if people have got videos, can you just quickly turn them on? Just quickly turn on your videos, and then we can together look at all these amazing entrepreneurs. Some of you who've probably got quite well-established businesses, some of you who are probably just starting out, many of you who will probably be, quite experienced in the whole thing of social entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship. So I always say, you'll probably hear me say it again later, so apologies if I repeat myself, but I just work for a big business. My name is Andrew. I work with Food Lovers Market, and I say this every year. I'm always completely inspired by people who are setting up their own businesses. It's so much easier to work for a business like I do. So, when I see all of you, all these faces on the screen, and if you all just look around and look at each other as well, wow, what a community. People who are creating the impact in this world of people who are growing their own businesses and making things happen. I'm completely inspired. I think, you sit on LinkedIn, you sit on all these different forums, and all I hear is, oh, this is bad, and that's bad, and this is bad. And I live in a bubble where I work with wonderful people like all of you. And when I see the impact and I hear the stories from some of your businesses, ways that it's not bad. The future is so bright. So I just want to start off by saying a massive thank you. Whether you end up applying, whether you don't end up applying, whether you end up successful, whether you don't end up successful, whether you're the winner or not, thank you to each and every one of you, because the way you run your businesses and setting up small businesses or businesses in South Africa is so necessary and yeah, big gratitude from myself and everybody at Food Lovers Market. So just to crack on then, my name, as I said, is Andrew Milson. I work, lucky enough, at Food Lovers Market with an amazing team who are putting this on today. And we've got a few videos to show you. We've got a few things that we're going to go through. We're very, very lucky to have two wonderful women who have not only been on the Seeds of Change program with us, but have been very successful in the Seeds of Change program and are now suppliers to Food Lovers Market. So you'll see two ladies over there, Ratang and Boikano. They are going to be Ratang waving now, and you're going to hear a little bit more about their businesses and their journey from exactly actually where you are right now, staring at my mug. Sorry for you, all of you, to actually supplying into Food Lovers Market. So hopefully that provides some inspiration for you as well. Okay, what I would say is, please, if anybody's got questions, please put your questions into the chat. I'm just going to move this forward. Put your questions into the chat. We'll collate those. At the end, there's a Q&A with myself and a few of the team. So we'll absolutely do our best to answer some of those questions for you. In the meantime, just a quick how to use Zoom. Can everyone see my screen? Yes? Somebody was saying something there. Okay, I'm going to assume that you can. I can't see any of you now. So I'm running a little bit blind here. So what's going to happen here is everyone is going to get muted. So obviously, so we don't have any background noise as we go. Pop your questions into the chat. Our wonderful colleague Dylan is going to be picking up some of those questions, and he'll be sending them to myself and others later on to try our best to answer. So hold off the questions as we go through, and then at the end, you're welcome to ask questions through the chat. So you've got the mute buttons. If you want, you can turn your video off now. Because I know that some of you are going to have challenges with regards to data and everything else based on where you may be and how rural you may be or not. So feel free to turn off your video now, mute yourselves, and I'll do my best not to talk too much so you don't get too sick of my voice. Okay. Feel free to use the reactions at any point as well. And yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay. So quick one. And if you could put this into the, sorry, 1 second. If you could put this into the chat, is where are you from and why are you interested in Seeds of Change? So where are you from and why are you interested in Seeds of Change? And obviously there are close to 60 people on this group, so we're going to hopefully see lots of it all coming up here, and we can start to get.
What is the priority in your business?
Sorry, if I could ask everyone just to mute themselves. Dylan, if you could mute everybody, that would be fantastic. And so don't be shy. Just put into the chat, where are you from and why are you interested in Seeds of Change? And let's have a quick look at what comes up from people there. Let's see, one question so far. Will the recording be shared? Yes, the recording will be shared. So we've got Bloemfontein, interested in supplying Food Lovers Market, but what are you interested in supplying? Let us know what you're interested in supplying. So what is your business there and where are you from? Don't be shy, everyone. Just put it into the chat and we can go from there. Okay, well, everyone, do this. We've got a Cape Town, growing and connecting. Sharpeville, there's a baker. Oh, I love bakers. That's my favorite department in Food Lovers Market. Okay, wonderful. Some more baking over there we've got going on. Got Johannesburg, homemade sauces, Pretoria, tires, batteries, tubes, rims, Gauteng, high value crops to Food Lovers Market. That's what the business was on. We've got table eggs. We've got Durban, we've got Bloemhof and spices and sauces. Wow, vegetables. Okay, now we're seeing it all coming through. This is wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. East London, Cases Beach. I'm from the Eastern Cape too, so there you go. Rabbit meat. Okay, I saw that quickly come through there. Wonderful. Energy drink. Okay, sure. That's pretty topical at the moment, isn't it? The energy drinks. Okay, so while you all do that, I'm going to crack on here with the rest and we can move it forward. But thank you, everybody. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show a video that we have, which shows a little bit about Seeds of Change.
Sorry, Andrew.
Sorry, Andrew, there's no sound.
There's no sound coming through.
Yes, can you just try again? Thank you.
Okay, let's see that again. Sorry. Luckily, we sell vegetables, not technology. So excuse me if I get anything wrong here. I don't know why that's not coming through because it is all clicked here. Okay, let me just see what we can do here again and try that again. So let me.
We were pretty fortunate. When Mike and I started 32 years ago.
Is that better? Can you hear the sound?
Yes, you can just start it from the beginning.
So when Mike and I started 32 years ago, way back in Greenwich City Access Park, I think what we tried to achieve in those days was getting the product from the farm to the customer as quickly as we could, as fast as we could, as fresh as we could, and at the best possible price. We were pretty fortunate that we were a small little business. We were completely local. We were completely buying everything from the farms around us. And there were so many of the farmers in those days who would deliver in the back of a bakkie, would actually drive the truck from the farm, which was only 15 kilometers away, was all young suppliers that sort of matched our ethos and our culture. A lot of those suppliers are still with us, and it's something that's built into our culture. It's something that we're so proud of, and it's something that we worked very hard to keep doing every year.
Sorry, guys. I'm really apologize. I believe that it was paused. Is that correct?
That is correct, Andrew. It was just stuck.
Okay.
It was a bit frozen.
Try that one more time. I do apologize for this. I'm just going to start that again. And let's see what we can do here. Let me just see. Sorry, one more try here. Okay, Dylan, can you see the screen now?
Yes, I can see it. You just have the gray blocks.
So when Mike and I started 32 years ago, way back in Fruit and Veg City Access Park, I think what we tried to the customers we could, and at the best possible price. We were pretty fortunate that we were a small little business. We were completely local. We were completely buying everything from the farms around us. And there were so many of the farmers in those days who would deliver in the back of a bakkie, or would actually drive the truck from the farm, which was only 15 kilometers away. Was all young suppliers that sort of matched our ethos and our culture. A lot of those suppliers are still with us, and it's something that's built into our culture. It's something that we're so proud of, and it's something that we work very hard to keep doing every year, and Seeds of Change is a big part of that.
So part of this business and part of how we look at things is, how do we support local? We know as a business that we've got a big opportunity, not just by buying local, but also by making sure that people with small businesses get an opportunity to get their products on our shelves. So the Seeds of Change project really came into focus when we thought, how do we make an increased difference in communities?
Seeds of Change was born out of a need to help those that are creating great businesses, and we have some really exciting and unique and innovative businesses in South Africa. How do we help them to scale to the level that they get to be in a big retailer like Food Lovers Market?
And we've had thousands of applications, and what's nice about those applications, that we go through each and every one of them, and every year we select first about 30 of them, and then later we get down to 10s and 12s, and they go on an intense 5-day program where they meet all the buyers, they see all the infrastructure, they go to all the DCs, they go to the stores, and they get mentored on what it is like to supply a retailer in South Africa today. We're so proud of the ones that we've now listed. We've listed a number of them, and every year it keeps growing, and that's really very special for us.
Seeds of Change, for me, it's a lifetime opportunity. I don't think there's anyone else that can give us that opportunity that we receive today.
To be taken behind the scenes, explained all of the terminology, the costings, full breakdown of what it is that you're getting into, so that you go in making conscious decisions and informed decisions. I think that was amazing.
At Food Lovers, what we look back on in the 32 years and what we probably proudest of is the fact that we were able to change so many lives. And if we can do that, whether it's the young farmer or young supplier or a colleague or a customer, that's really what Food Lovers is about. And if we can manage to do that, that's what makes us proud.
Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea about the program and why we do it. But just from our side, a little bit more about that. So you know, Food Lovers Market was founded in 1993 by Brian and Mike Coppin, and they were effectively where you guys are now, or where many of you guys are now. And they were small businesses with big ambition. And you know, the business, as you know, has had remarkable success. So it started off as they bought Carrot King in Access Park in Cape Town, and they converted it to the very first fruit and veg city. And from there, it was just fruit and veg, as many of you guys know. And from there, the business grew and grew and grew. And we now are a business where we've got, there's 18,000 colleagues engaged in our business. We've got a number of different brands. Not everybody understands how many brands we've got. So we've got Market Liquors and Diamond Liquors. We've got FECI, which is the largest import-export fruit and veg business in South Africa. We've got Fresh Stops. There's about 350 odd Fresh Stops, which are the convenience stores that we have at some of the petrol stations around the country. An amazing brand that we have got is Seattle Coffee Company, so that's in our house. And you know, there's now hundreds of Seattles, and I think there's no question that they well, I am slightly biased obviously, but make the best coffee in South Africa. So we've got these incredible brands within our business. And you know, I think a big part of what we try to do as a business is yes, to grow, and of course yes, to make profit and to continue that growth. But a big part of it is how do we really live by our values? How do we genuinely become a purpose-led business? And so some of this comes from the fact that, so our values, if you like, let me start with that. Our values are quite easy to relate to. Our values, in short, they go with FLM, and that's faith, love, and miracles. So it's really about how do we have faith in each other? How do we have faith in the brands? How do we make sure that we show up in love every day, that we lead from the heart, that we love our jobs, that we bring that love to our customers, love our customers, that we love the products that we work with, and most importantly, that we love each other and our suppliers. And then miracles is around how do we make sure we've got energy on the shop floor. Any of those who've been in retail know that it's a tough game. So those are, you know, so we need to have that high energy and actually every day create a miracle for the customer. So those are our values. And you know, I talk a lot about values, and I always say values schmallies, because every business talks about values, and yet so many don't really follow those values. So for us, it's very much a journey. And a number of years ago, probably about 9-10 years ago now, we came across a book called Conscious Capitalism, which was written by a guy called John Mackey from Whole Foods Market, the founder of Whole Foods Market. And it was really about, is there a different way of doing business? What is the purpose behind business? And there's a quote in that which I love, where he talks about, you know, the difference in profit and purpose. And in his quote there, he says, you know, in life, we have to breathe. You know, we have to breathe. But taking breath isn't my purpose in life. I have a bigger purpose. And with business, you know, making profit, to make money, to keep growing and to exist and to do the things you want to do, that's like breathing. But what's the bigger purpose? And I think Food Lovers Market has been on quite a journey with that. And our purpose at the moment, which has been redone a few times, but really is close to the heart of the owners, is changing lives. It's quite simple, changing lives. And that's what we're in business to do, is how do we change lives? And when you look at the founders and the owners, they are very much at their hearts still entrepreneurs. You know, just like all of you who are looking to potentially apply in here, they're entrepreneurs. They are dedicated to innovation, to excellence, to maybe buckling the norm a little bit and trying different things. And so this program is really an extension of their heart. What they really love is watching small businesses grow. And this program has been designed to look at how do we as a business make more of an impact than we can just on ourselves? Because as you know, business doesn't operate in isolation. So how do we work with our supply chain to really create and maximize the possible impact that is needed? And that impact being both environmentally and socially. So it's not just about it's not just about business, if that makes sense. And this program, therefore, comes to say, okay, well, how do we find businesses out there that are not only wanting to grow their business and therefore create employment and all the rest of things which are so necessary in South Africa, but how do we go out there and we find businesses and we encourage and support businesses who are dedicated to make a social and environmental impact, who are very purpose-led. And as they grow their businesses through hopefully becoming suppliers to Food Lovers Market, so too can they grow their impact, and so too can the social and environmental challenges that we face be tackled through our supply chain. So that's a very brief overview of the why, if you like. It's something that I could talk about for a very long time, but obviously we are limited on this program. On this webinar a little bit for the next hour or so. But that ultimately is what we're looking for. Why we are doing it is because we want to magnify our social and environmental impact through bringing on small suppliers who can grow their businesses and grow their social and environmental impact so that we all benefit and South Africa benefits as a whole. So that's in short why we do it. And this is now the 5th year of doing it, and we've had some incredible success stories in this program, some of which you'll hear from later on. Okay, so just a quick poll. I think Dylan's going to put a quick poll up for us right now. And the poll is, at the moment, what is your priority in your business? Planet, profit, or people? So if you could all just have a quick look at that poll, put the one on that is most relevant. This is not going to be used against you. It's not going to be held against you. We won't even know who's saying what. So please be honest, pop it in there, and it will be interesting for us to have a look at kind of who's on and where your priorities face right now. And I'm sure some of you will probably want to tick more than one, if not all three. However, that's not an option. So it's just the one that your business is the main priority for your business right now. And you can do that poll. Okay. Just moving forward, I want to introduce you to a wonderful woman called Sarika Behrens. And Sarika is a hub manager, as you can see there, for Social Enterprise Academy South Africa. And the Social Enterprise Academy, I'm going to obviously let Sarika speak about a little bit more detail and give you some more information. But just from our Social Enterprise Academy has been an incredible partner for us on this program. And they have been our partner since the very beginning. And they bring with them not just a wealth of experience in terms of social entrepreneurship, but they also bring a real passion for change and a real passion towards the social enterprise and impact-led businesses that kind of growth of that sector to grow. So I'll leave it over to you, Sarika, but it's a phenomenal organization that you should absolutely worth checking out. Over to you, Sarika.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to see all of you. I'm Sarika, as Andrew mentioned, the Hub Manager for Social Enterprise Academy Africa. And here with me is my colleague, Jamie.
Hi, everyone.
She's the Project Manager on the Seeds of Change program. And we have been very honored to be part of this program. And it's now, I can't believe it's already the 5th year of this program. So just to give you a bit of background about what we do, and also the focus of this program is Social Enterprise Academy is a learning and development organization. So we focus on short, practical capacity building programs to support social entrepreneurs like yourselves to expand your impact in the community by becoming more sustainable. So our capacity building programs focuses on leadership, social enterprise, impact measurement, etc. And yes, in our experience, one of the biggest problems that our social enterprises face is access to market. And that's why we're incredibly privileged to be part of this program, because we've seen from the very beginning how getting this opportunity really supports our social enterprises to make a lot more impact in the community. So if I can give one example, and the Tang and Boitano could speak a lot more on this. They will tell you about the impact in their lives. But maybe if I could just refer back to our first winner, Portia from Village Market, just to give you an idea of the impact that this program also made on her and her organization's lives. She puts up honey sanctuaries on the outskirts of South Africa and Mozambique, and her colleague as well. And they call it honey sanctuaries. And by putting down those honey sanctuaries in the different communities, she trains up local unemployed women as beekeepers and honey farmers, and basically create employment in communities with no employment opportunities. So as they scale and put up more honey sanctuaries, entire communities are being uplifted. And of course, they're also addressing food security at the same time, and even the safety of communities, because for those who didn't know, elephants are scared of bees. So by even with their social enterprise, their impact is on so many layers, because by putting up those honey sanctuaries in the communities are actually also protected. So it's food security, safety, unemployment in areas where there's 100% unemployment rate, and then producing, of course, amazing honey in the process. So just to give you that as an example, in the first year when she got in and she won Seeds of Change, and she was a supplier for Food Lovers Market, she was impacting about 200 community members at that stage. 1 year later, it was over 800 community members. And in the second year after she got into the supply chain, it was over 1,200 community members impacted by it. So that is what's really inspiring about this program, is the opportunity to make real change and to scale your impact, because you now have access to market. So very exciting for us to be part of this program. Glad to see all your videos, hear all your stories, be part of the application process, and very excited to see those of you who get through to our second round at the procurement webinar, the 2-day webinar that Andrew will tell you a bit more about later. But yes, a wonderful opportunity, golden opportunity to get access to speaking to some of the buyers at Food Lovers Market, getting real insight into Food Lovers Market and what it takes to become a supplier of a big retailer. So very excited to be part of this process and program, and we hope to see many of you at our next round. And of course, there's a lot of competition, so really showcase your impact, showcase of course your amazing products, but also the impact that you will be making in the community. But lovely to see all of you and excited about the next phase.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarika. And if you haven't checked out Social Enterprise Academy and you haven't heard of them before, now's your chance. Definitely go and have a look, because they do some incredible work in supporting social entrepreneurs. So thank you, Sarika. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you guys for being a part of this program and for being such great partners over the years and as we've grown it. So I don't know, Dylan, if we've got the poll, and if you can show the poll, let me know if that's possible now. Otherwise, I can just crack on.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Andrew, so out of our 74 participants, only 67 has participated. So if anyone is still trying to find the poll, all you have to do is you'll see where you drop a right at the bottom at the ribbon where there's the chat at sign. Far to the right, you'll see polls and quizzes. But Andrew, as we stand, we've got 19% of people said that the business, the priority is planet, 34% said profit, and 46% said people.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So 46% saying people, 19% planet, and 34% saying profit. That's wonderful. It's fascinating. So thank you very much, everybody who took part in that poll, and for the only 7 who didn't, come on, put your money in there. Just pop on one of those and just see where we get to. But that's a fascinating poll. So thank you very much to Dylan, and thank you, Dylan, as well, for all the work that you're doing behind the scenes on this to make this all run as smoothly as it possibly can. Okay, so we've got another video that I want to show now, and this is around the Seeds of Change from the previous time. Hopefully the sound all works now. I love the opportunity of supporting small businesses, to step out into the world, to listen to their hearts, to follow their dreams, to, in a really tough economy, to set up their own businesses. The courage and the bravery that takes, I just find so incredibly inspirational. If we can play a small part in their journey, then I'm happy. I think it's just incredibly inspirational to watch these entrepreneurs do the work they do.
Yeah, there was so much to love about Seeds of Change, but the opportunity to sit in a room for 5 days with other small business owners was mind-blowing.
What an incredible opportunity, like meeting other entrepreneurs, going through the same struggles, hearing everyone's stories.
To be taken behind the scenes, explained all of the terminology, costings, full breakdown of what it is that you're getting into, so that you go in making conscious decisions and informed decisions. I think that was amazing.
So us going to the DC and seeing how everything works, the arrival of products, how they handle them, for me it was really amazing. I was like, hello retail, I'm here.
Seeing that scale of production and operation, it's inspiring, and it obviously motivates us that that's something that you can get into. I'm very technical driven, so seeing all those come together to what you see at the storefront was really interesting.
I think that as far as supplier development programs go, this has to be one of the most comprehensive programs that I've ever had the privilege of witnessing.
It's given me the confidence which I didn't have before to approach a bigger retailer and say, hey, I'm really good.
Seeds of Change, for me, it's a lifetime opportunity. I don't think there's anyone else that can give us that opportunity that we receive today.
Connecting with the buyers and getting upfront what they're looking for, hearing from them the type of things that they are expecting from us. I think you don't get that. A lot of the time the buyers do not want to engage with us on that level. So we're very fortunate to have had that opportunity.
But it was such an amazing experience for them that the buyers, these big scary guys that they were told about, were so free with their knowledge, so free with their experience, and literally comforted them in a way that it made the entrepreneurs feel like, you know what, I got this, I can do it.
You see so many young individuals that are 100% out there on their own trying to make it, regardless of load shedding and all the terrible news that you read about how tough it is in South Africa, and yet every single one of them are standing on their own, and really they're surviving fine. I mean, we're just here to now help them scale and create a great business and create more jobs and help the next person then.
What I love about Seeds of Change, even though it is slightly different every year, is the bond that the contestants have. How the contestants felt specifically this year around how they had created the kind of a family, which as Food Lovers Market, we are a family business. It's a business that we really try and live our values every day. So to know that culture kind of feeds through even into the contestants of a campaign or a project like this one is incredible to see.
The support system that we found here, we all came here and it was a competition when we arrived. But that fell away very quickly and we became a little family, helping each other out, advising each other what to keep out of our pitches.
The transformation that Food Lovers is bringing in through small businesses, that definitely sums it up for me, that Food Lovers is doing a whole lot of great things.
If you're thinking about entering Seeds of Change, you will never know if you don't try.
Don't think about it. Just enter. Just put your best foot forward and just enter. Get into it. Fill out the application. Think about what sustainability means to you. Take yourself seriously as a social entrepreneur and just enter and see what happens. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so there you have it. If that's not inspiring enough to enter, then I don't know what is. Yeah, it is genuinely a fabulous program, and you would have seen a lot of clips there from the final week. And that final week of the top 10 is actually something incredibly special. And it's not just special for the entrepreneurs. It's incredibly special. It's incredibly special for us at Food Lovers Market as well, because we spent an entire week with 10 completely inspiring people. They form bonds with each other that I know have continued with many of them post Seeds of Change. Some of them have been successful within Food Lovers Market, some of them haven't, but amount of learning and the amount that goes, the amount of learning and sharing and networking and just fun that is had by all of them is for me, it's incredibly inspiring once again to witness all of that and to be a part of it. Okay, so speaking about previous participants who've done incredibly well, I want to introduce you to two fabulous women. We have Boikana Sikwane, who is the CEO of Chuck Chili. And you can see there the two pictures of her, the one which is looks like the social media profile and the speaking profile, and the one there with her product, and it's a fabulous product. So if you haven't tried any Chuck Chili, well, you've been missing out, and best you get some. And then we have another incredible social entrepreneur, Ratang Fala, and Ratang is the CEO of Setsong Tea Crafters, and it was a complete delight to see Ratang presenting and doing so well within Food Lovers Market and coming on as a supplier, in particular with the brand that she's got, which is really bold and stands out. And the fact that a lot of her teas are indigenous, so based on indigenous herbs, so it's really bringing the South Africa and that part of us which sometimes we don't see onto the shelves of Food Lovers Market. So I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen because that way I can actually rather have a look at everybody on here. So sorry, I was a bit blind before. So now I can look at everybody on here. And I'm just going to bring both Ratang and Boikana into the conversation. So Boikana, if you can turn on your, there you go. Hello, I see you were shy there. I'll start with Ratang in the meantime. And Ratang, if you just want to introduce yourself and your business, kind of your elevator pitch to start with, then that would be fabulous, and we can get into some questions. And then Boikana, I'll ask you to do the same.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everybody. And I'll start by saying congratulations to everyone who's here. It's a great, huge step to just take that step to apply. So congratulations for that. My name is Ratang Phahla, as mentioned. I'm the CEO of Setsong Tea Crafters, and we're an indigenous tea crafting business based in the rural areas of Limpopo, within the Sekhukhune region, an area that not many people even know about. Sorry about that. Let me just get my lighting right. I'm in the village currently. So the lights are, we use solar lighting, so it's a bit dim. So yeah, it was really an honor and a privilege to be part of the Seeds of Change program and to even make it as the winner in my year. And we manufacture these indigenous teas. We work with rural communities that have been consuming these indigenous teas for hundreds of years, but they were never commercialized. So from 2016, we embarked on a journey to get them commercialized and get them known globally because of all the properties that they contained. We believe that they'd be so beneficial to consumers all around the world. And in 2021, we eventually managed to get through the program of Seeds of Change and find a platform to actually take our product to the mainstream markets of South Africa. So you can look out for our products on shelf. We're in all the Food Lovers Market stores across the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Ratang. And Boikana, if I could ask you to do the same, just to introduce yourself and a little bit about your business, that would be fantastic. Thank you. There you go. There you go. We have a rule, Boikana, that if you talk while you're muted, you have to buy everybody a coffee. So that's 80 participants that you're going to have to buy a coffee for. That, I hope your business is doing very well.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Boikana Sikwane, and thank you very much for having me here. It's always exciting. I was just saying to my business partner now that every time I get to be on a panel or talk to anybody about the Seeds of Change program and why I encourage everybody who is embarking on a business, especially the food business, to at least try their luck. It excites me. I get taken back to, just opportunity of what it has given us. But anyway, in short, Chuck Chili is the best chili condiment this side of the equator. Once you taste it, you're going to get hooked. Our punchline is actually beware the kick. It has a kick and it's addictive. We love it. Our customers love it. Coming on to Seeds of Change back in 2020, I was actually encouraged, funny enough, by a couple of people who had tasted the product and who had enjoyed it through buying it either from us directly because we're still so small, or getting it from other small retail stores, independent. So just to take that chance where we were saying, well, are we ready? Are we not ready? The product is ready, but we were not, we were not sure whether we were. But what the program did is that it actually allowed us to see the potential of not just the business, but of the product and the brand itself. So much that we learned from the beginning. There was, I don't know if the program is still run the same, but from just introducing your product, understanding your value proposition, and all those little lessons that were taught even before we got there. It was amazing. It was really an amazing opportunity for us as a business. So yeah, that's true. Chuck actually does bang. I'm just looking at it. Does make Chuck Norris scared. But yeah, so as I say, we have been given through the Seeds of Change program an opportunity that I don't think any other program could have given us, and we are forever grateful for that.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Boykano. And I don't want to. Yes, Food Lovers has a role to play in it, but let's just be absolutely clear that it's a small role, a very, very, very small role compared to all the hard work that goes into running your business and becoming a supplier. So on that, obviously becoming a supplier into Food Lovers Market, I imagine it ends that final week and and becoming a supplier, and it's like yeah, and then it gets tougher actually to become a supplier. So do you want to just talk a little bit, Ratang, to start with, about what your journey to actually become a supplier has been like?
Okay. So yeah, so it's it is really where the work begins. Once you get accepted as a supplier, whether you win or not, there's an opportunity actually for you to still be listed. So once you have that opportunity, the work begins in terms of really figuring out how operations, how you can scale your operations, how you're going to get the products to DCs, how you're going to price your product, how you're going to actually have the tough conversations with the buyer in terms of understanding the trading terms and the rebates. So you learn all these things in the boot camp, but putting them into practice is a little bit challenging, because you have to now really figure out all the tough things. You have to figure out, is your labeling correct, your barcoding? So for us, we didn't go into store immediately. Like, we thought it would actually be much faster transition for us. But we actually, I think it took about a year for us to just get things in place. Making sure our food safety compliance is in order, and we have enough capital to even manufacture and produce all the products that are going to go into store. And for us, we went in after that year, when we finally got into store, we went in with our loose leaf teas, really ambitious that we were going to convince people to not buy tea bags and, drink more loose leaf tea. So it gave us an opportunity to really understand the customer better at Food Lovers Market. And then we realized that, as much as we really had hoped to get loose leaf tea moving as well as we wanted to see it, and revolutionize the tea, the tea market through our range. We actually then, after that period, decided to actually branch into tea bags and revisit our pricing again. So it was really a journey. And, in the past year, we've been able to penetrate all the Food Lovers Market stores with our tea bag range, and we're seeing it moving much better on the shelf. So it's a journey, and you just have to be patient with yourself. You have to be open to learning, build a good relationship with your buyer. And and I think it's really important that while you are preparing to apply and go through all the stages of the competition of the program, rather, that you start thinking of all these things on, okay, if I'm maybe only producing 500 units currently, if I had to start, supplying thousands of units per month, how am I going to get that done? So it's important to start thinking about it right now. Start thinking about your food safety, your pricing, and really understand the market. Like, I would recommend going to store, looking at the shelves, and really studying it and seeing where the gaps are as well in the market for a product that you are supplying, so that you can really know how to communicate your value proposition specifically for Food Lovers Market. So it's more than just getting your product onto shelf. It's making sure that you are building a sustainable and scalable business, and also that along the way, your journey, you're still able to impact the communities and the society, that your social impact is also something that will still align to you scaling your business, because that's really the heart of what we are as Seeds of Change suppliers. We're change makers, and it's a journey. It's really a journey, but we were able to through it. Somebody put in their resilience. Resilience is really what it takes to get there at the end, and we're still working on it today.
And you're still smiling, and you're still as fresh as you did that day that you walked into the final 10. So it's amazing, Rutang.
But it's the tea that makes me look fresh, by the way.
Wonderful. Okay, I wasn't too sure if it was the tea or the chili. So, but you're saying it's the tea. Okay. Boycana, or maybe it's both. Boycana, I know that it's often for small suppliers, it's an aspiration to supply into a big retailer, for example, but then the reality of quantities and the scaling up of the business, how did you get your head around that, and how did you manage to get your business into a place where you could start to supply into many of our stores?
So for us, the story was actually interesting. So we didn't win, as Ratang mentioned, that you don't really even have to be a winner. We were just, I think, fortunate enough that one of the buyers loved our product, and at that time he was not even in a category, and he said to me at the 10-day boot camp that, you know what, if your product was in my category, I was going to be listing you before you left. And funny enough, a couple of months later, he was a buyer in our category, and he gave us the call, and that was Brian Roberts. And at the time, we were actually operating from a 50 square meter facility, right? So not only did we have to put our heads around just scaling or managing the demand, or that first order that we got from Food Lovers, which was humongous. I mean, I think we were looking at about, was it not 10 pallets or something? It was just crazy. So
just to put that in perspective, 10 pallets, how many jars of chili are we talking about per pallet?
Oh, so a pallet is about 3,000 bottles.
Okay, so 10 pallets.
Yeah.
That's a big change. Okay, sorry, carry on.
So, and I remember one of the first things that I said, and at that time we were all manual, like literally we were spooning off our product with spoons into the jar. So there was nothing automated about our process at all. Not, we were still chopping with our hand. We didn't have like a chopping company or a company that we could ask to chop according to specification. Everything was done. And I remember saying to Brian that, okay, you're going to have to give us 2 months just to get this order through. And we had to get our guys in like 2 shifts, like we were working 24 hours. We had like 2 or 3 shifts that were working, and I was working 2 of those shifts. So then we had to like look at the finance. Do we even have the capital outlay? You know, do we have the money to even finance such a big order? Fortunately, where we are at Riversense, they have a purchase order funding thing. So we had to go to them. And at the time, it was still on 0%. So they were like, you know what? Go ahead and do that. So there was just so much that we had to get our heads around. Never mind just getting the product out. Just even, you know, emotionally, our heads were spinning. Everything. I remember the first day or the first week we had done all this order. I mean, all course, we had like thousands of bottles, but we had not packed them properly. And I remember opening up the factory at like 5 a.m. Next thing I saw, that cupboard had fell down. And we had hundreds and hundreds of bottles on the floor. So we had to like, you know, wrap our heads around what is possible, what can we do. But Food Lovers was patient, I must say. I mean, we asked for an extension. We still continue to ask for extensions. Yeah, so financing, we got that. We moved to a bigger space. And 3, most importantly, and I think this is where Food Lovers really held our hand. We did not have our HACCP certification. All we had was the COA, and all we had was just the testing of the product itself. So we were taking the product in for testing to make sure that it is free of pathogens and everything. But then Food Lovers gave us a year. They were like, within 12 months, you have to have your certification in. And that is the biggest break that they've ever given us. Because, I mean, now, yes, we no longer just have HACCP. We've actually just recently moved to an FSSC level 2. So we are moving our factory to FSSC, which is global. And I don't know if we would have done that with anybody else besides. So I would keep panting Food Lovers. I know you said that, you know, it's not all Food Lovers, but when you're a small supplier getting into a big retail and wanting to supply at this level, you need a partner or a retailer who looks at you as a partner and a collaborator instead of looking at you just as a small supplier. And they did that for us. And yeah.
Well, thank you, boyfriend. So I can see Sarika and Jamie have got their hands up, but I just want to touch on one thing, and it's come up a few times, is that resilience. And something I didn't mention, the backstory of Food Lovers Market is that Brian and Mike actually they went bankrupt. I don't know even if you guys maybe they mentioned it when they first came in and they gave the chat to you guys, but you know, their story is that they own some spas and they lost everything. They literally lost everything. And they had one guy who had lent them money, and Brian went to go say to him, I'm sorry, we can't pay you back. And the story goes that his fiance at the time started to take off her wedding ring and say, or engagement ring, and say, okay, why didn't you give this to him? And he didn't want to admit, but that's not going to settle the debt. It's way bigger than that. Anyway, Brian's a good salesman amongst many things, and a good guy. And he convinced this guy. He said, listen, we've learned all our mistakes. You know, give us one more chance. Please, can you give us some more money? And we're going to open up this new thing in Cape Town. And that was the start of Food Lovers Market. So, you know, even it all looks big and glamorous on the outside for some of these businesses. And Boykhana, you articulated that so well, but the amount of resilience that is required to stay in there and to build and to keep the focus is incredible. So thank you. Sarika, Jamie, I see you guys had a quick question there.
Yes, so I can actually think back of that time, Boikano, when you spoke with me over the phone and you said, Sarika, I have to source a ton of chilies and I don't even have enough suppliers. So that was very exciting times. But I just want to reflect on your impact that you're making, because I know for both of you, your social impact has been very important from the beginning. I remember, Boikano, you specifically focused on, employing unemployed youth in township communities, and you really wanted to give opportunities and build them in the business and just give you opportunities for people with no opportunities. And I know, Ratang, you're really passionate about giving women in those communities in Limpopo the opportunity, to become business owners or to own large, I think it was 49 or 51%, I can't remember, of your company. So please, if both of you need to reflect back on, your vision of impact from the beginning, and that's why you got into this program, and now reflecting back a couple of years along the line, like, how many more people have you impacted? How have you seen that vision of employing youth and that vision of employing women in your communities, Ratang, grow and flourish during your journey of scaling? So I would love to hear you reflect on that. And yeah, how that's going, your bigger vision.
Ratang, do you want to start with that one in terms of your social environmental impact?
Okay. So, with our model, being that these are indigenous plants that have been consumed in rural Limpopo, we felt strongly that we needed to develop a more inclusive ownership structure where we're not just sourcing, because this IP comes from the community. And with indigenous plants, there's also a lot of, protocols around access benefit sharing legally in terms of using indigenous knowledge systems. So we wanted to just take it a step further. The ladies were working with us in the business, but they were building the business with us. And it wasn't really anymore just an employee-employer type of arrangement. They were really putting in sweat into the business when we were building it. So we then developed an ownership structure where 2 rural cooperatives that were working with us had we structured that they own 49% of the company. But in terms of where we're sourcing the raw material, we are now penetrating more communities, and we've trained and positioned more women to be suppliers of the raw material. So we've had opportunities to get them trained, certified training, even with institutions, Agricultural Research Council, and we've had support from the GIZ. So we then were able to scale and agreements with 10 communities, whereas we initially just started with the 2 cooperatives that were building the business with us. And now we've got 10 communities that are outgrowers and wild harvesters that supply us with the raw material. So we have around 50 women and youth, a combination of women and youth, that are directly impacted through the value chain. But now, because we're in store, we also have employed in-store promoters to help us market the product and do tastings in store. So predominantly, those are young people that are in the city who are unemployed. We train them up and position them, teach them how to sell, and now you'll see them even currently in a few of the stores doing in-store promotions. So we've got around 20 young people that we work with to do promotions there. So we have created around 70 jobs. And really, we are seeing that, as we grow, with the reference of Food Lovers Market, we've been able to also penetrate other retailers, which I won't mention, but, that gave us that reference, and it taught us a lot about retail, and it gave us the confidence to go further into the market and actually access more market opportunities. So it's very exciting. We even have our teas in Botswana at Food Lovers Markets in Botswana now.
That's so wonderful. That's so wonderful, Ratang. Thank you so much. And I think your impact that you create is completely inspiring. And hopefully, whether people on here, whether they apply or not, but you'd be crazy not to. But if you didn't, whether you do or not, hopefully you're inspired to really look at your business and look at the purpose of the business and create more social impact wherever you can. Boykano, do you want to just briefly chat through your social impact side?
As Rika mentioned, we've always had a big focus on employing youth and upskilling them and introducing them, especially youth, young people who are sitting in communities with absolutely no plan, and we see a lot of that in our townships. So our strategy was always to get them out of that, introduce them to food production and the whole food chain, so that they can find themselves in different spaces. So since we started, a lot has happened actually. Some of our guys have gone back to school, which is a big thing. Every time we get new intakes in the business, I always want to ask, I need to know, where are you in terms of your educational level? What are your aspirations? Where do you see yourself? The nice thing about the food industry is that you don't always have to be in production. There's just so much, from logistics to marketing to food safety. There's so much. So we try to expose our young ones into different parts of their business, and at some point they all decide which route works for them, if food production is even something that they love. So a lot of the guys that I started with have gone back to school. I've had, I think from the group of 10 that I started with, I have 3 that have continued with us. And then I partnered with the YES program through Africa Tikkun in the last couple of years. So they would bring in a new team of guys that through the training, and I will absorb about 10%, 20%, depending on what my needs are at that time, and who is interested and who has a better fit. So we have, at the moment, we still have about, I think we have about 7 maximum. We have about 7 in the factory itself, in the production space. We have a driver merchandiser, logistics guy, an amazing young gentleman who I'm really excited to have on board. We are getting a new media lady also coming through from Africa Tikkun. I'm hoping that, at the end of the year, we'll be able to absorb her. I love Techi. So yeah, we continue to do that, whether they end up being permanent or not with us, whether we absorb them or not. We continue to bring in young people through our business so that they understand what it takes to have a product that comes from the soil onto the plate at home. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I just want to say a big thank you again to Retang and Boykano for being online now, but more than that, for being such incredible inspirations to so many people and for making such an amazing impact. And you keep, I know you mentioned food lovers, but I think we're the lucky ones here, to have you guys as partners. So thank you to both of you, and thank you for sharing everything now. And I think a virtual round of applause to both Boykano and Retang for their insights and their sharing and their inspiration. I'm going to unpin you guys now, or remove the spotlight, I should say. And what I will do is I will bring you back, because we're going to have a short Q&A. We'll have a short Q&A in a little bit. So before we get to that, I just some of the logistics side, if you like, in terms of how to enter and what to do to ensure that you're a part of the program. So the most important deadline to remember is the deadline on the 7th of April. So on the 7th of April, that is the deadline for entry. So please make sure you do get your entries in by then. Just a few key things. Then your business does need to have been operational for 12 months. And you need to have a business plan that's like showcasing successful implementation of what you're doing. So what we mean by that is it's got to be more than an idea. Okay, so you need to be running your business. You need to be making a product, providing your service, or whatever it may be. and have a little bit of a track record, a 12-month track record of doing that. So when you go in to submit on the 7th of April, or before the 7th of April, I should say, you will see that there's a number of different things to fill out. It's all on our website. So if Dylan could maybe just pop a link onto the website that you can see it over there, and it'll ask you various questions around obviously your business, etc., etc. What I would say is that, you know, we are looking for people who have got great businesses with a great product that we want to, you know, take to the world and help you take it to the world, that is creating incredible social and environmental impact. So what I would say is don't underestimate the importance of the social and environmental impact. I'm not saying it all has to be social or all environmental, and that's something that we talk about quite a lot during the program, because you know, Brian always gets asked that question. His answer is, well, you have to make profit to survive, and then you can do everything else. So, but don't underestimate, you know, for us, we will look for what is the purpose beyond business that you are actually looking at as a, you know, as a business. So please do showcase that. That's just a tip from our side. We will then be doing a shortlisting, and we'll kind of cut that down to probably 20 or 30 businesses who will be shortlisted, who will come together on the 6th and 7th of May. Now, that 6th and 7th of May, when I say come together, that's a virtual gathering. It's going to be facilitated by the Social Enterprise Academy for us. And it's 2 days where we hear from our marketing people. You'll hear from probably from myself in terms of sustainability point of view. You'll hear from our buyers, which is obviously always the crucial people to hear from, and a host of other people, as well as get a chance to really relook at your business plans, relook at what you're wanting to achieve from this, and then present back on that. From that 20 or 30, so from that 2-day online one, we will then we'll have 10 finalists. Okay, it's very hard to do. I've got to be honest. It's incredibly hard to do, but we will select 10 finalists from that, and those 10 finalists will gather for what we call our boot camp, and that'll be happening from the 9th to the 13th of June. So the 9th to the 13th of June, you'll be put up in Cape Town. You'll be flown to Cape Town. Everything will be for you. You'll hear from the food lovers, from Brian and Mike. You will hear from all of our buyers. We do a you know, you'll get to meet the buyer relevant to your product and spend some time with them. It's facilitated by Social Enterprise Academy. So there's some beautiful business planning and exercises and everything else that gets done during that week, including presenting skills and everything else. And the last day of that, the bit that I love the most, but I'm not sure, you'd have to ask the old finalists here whether they enjoyed it, is the pitch. And so it's a bit like a dragon's den, except I like to think that we're friendly dragons. We're not fiery ones. And so there's 5 of us. Generally, it's the CEO, it's the managing exec for buying, it's the CEO of a marketing agency we're very close with, possibly one of the owners, and myself. Yeah, and we will then actually, it's a 2-minute pitch, and then with Q&As, and then from there the final the winners are chosen. So that's very broadly and very quickly the process. All of this is on the website, so if you didn't catch anything, feel free to jump on the website and have a look. One thing just to remember, your videos, they need to be MP4 format. Okay, so make sure your videos that you upload are MP4 format. It's a maximum of 500 megs, which is I'm grateful for, because we don't want a half an hour synopsis into your business. We are looking for something short, sharp, that showcases your great product, your great purpose, your great impact, and the greatness of you as well. Okay, so that's really what we're going to be looking for when we do that and when we go through all of that. So yeah, what I'd say is get your entries in as soon as you possibly can. Okay, we've got a little bit of time left, and I know I've rushed through some of that. The reason that we've got a bit of time is I want to do a little bit of a Q&A before we get to the Q&A, I see that Dylan has very politely put his hand up. So yes, Dylan, what do you want to add? What did I forget?
No, I'm just coming back to report on the poll. So the poll's been out. We've got one person that I'm not too sure why he or she is shy, but currently we're sitting on, for the question is at the moment, what is the priority for your business? So 17% is planet, 36% is profit, and a whopping 47% is people.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you. Yeah, we're lucky to have people like Dylan who are helping us out there, that's for sure. So thank you very much, Dylan. Just one thing on the social impact. A lot of people will say to us, oh, we employ people and that's our social impact. And what we say is employing people is like having wheels on a car. Like you can't say you got a car if it doesn't have wheels. You know, it's not going to go. So employing people is great. Don't get me wrong. Wheels are great too. Employing people is fantastic. It creates jobs, etc., etc. But go bigger than that. Think bigger than that. You just heard some great examples from the two ladies we had earlier on. So try go think bigger than that if you can. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spotlight again. There we go, Boicano. I think I have you here. If you could put your camera on, thank you so much. At Spotlight. And Sarika, if you could put your camera on and you can jump in here as well, that would be fantastic. But in the meantime, if just to open it up to people. So you're welcome to put your questions into the chat. But otherwise, if you do want to ask a question, feel free to put your hand up and then unmute yourself when I call your name, and then you can ask a question directly yourself. So any questions, it can be for me about the process or anything around Food Lovers, or obviously to Ratang or Boicano about any of their experiences in the process.
Andrew, we can't put ourselves in the spotlight, but we're happy to answer any questions.
No, you can't. But if I find you,
yeah.
Okay, I've got to find you. But in the meantime, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to jump in with any questions. Or Dylan, if you've seen anything that's come up on the chat that I've missed, then also please feel free to read those out.
Andrew?
Yes.
I'm not sure. Yes, you can hear me, Cecilia?
Hi, Cecilia. Yes. You got a question?
Yes. Yes, Boicano, well done, firstly. I'm very proud to say that we are South Africans, because there's always something to find fault in South Africa, but with you two,
oh, is it just me? Did we lose you there?
No, sorry. Yes, I was muted. Yeah, I would like to ask you. You spoke about a company that assisted you with capital to start with. I couldn't hear that company's name. If you can just enlighten me, please.
Oh, that is the Thrive Fund. Am I unmuted? Okay, I am. That is the Thrive Fund. If you just go the Thrive Fund on Google, you'll be able to get them.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just adding Sarika in them. I'm just testing my skills out here. Okay, so we have a hand up. I think the first person there is, and apologies for my mispronunciations, Imba Lentle. You want to unmute yourself and then ask your question?
Good evening, everybody. I hope that I am audible. We are a small nonprofit, and we run an aggregator program. So the reason for being part of this conversation tonight was to find out if we are eligible to apply as an aggregator organization on behalf of a group of smaller household farmers for the supply of fresh produce to food lovers. So that's really just my question.
So your question is, let me just understand this. Sorry. So you're a producer of fresh produce? Are you a farmer?
Yes, we are. We have a production capacity on farm, but the majority of our work within the community, our community outreach program, also has a pool of fresh produce vegetables, which necessitated us creating an aggregator division within the organization. But then now we want to understand if we scale up the aggregator program to apply. But then we as the organization would be, because some of your criteria listed on the website, the aggregator itself is not like a registered entity separately. So we would have to stand up for the aggregator. So I don't know if that makes sense, or is that acceptable? Because we are seeing the opportunity as very advantageous, especially for the community that we're working with, which is a diversity of household gardeners.
I'm going to stop you there because we've got lots of questions. I just want to make sure we get through everyone. The short answer is yes, you absolutely can apply. I think aggregators are essential from a consistency and quality point of view when you're looking at fresh produce into formal retailing. And if you can provide that, so we've got the consistency and the quality from a variety of sources, then absolutely, we'd love to hear from you. So thank you.
Thank you.
From Lorato.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, everyone. Thank you, first and foremost, for the opportunity to be here. I just have a quick question. As a startup, not necessarily that, like financially, we are not yet where we want to be. So I see one of your requirements is showing financial stability. So I would like to know what is it that we can submit as proof of that, especially for a company just recently started.
Sorry, how long have you been going for?
We've been going for a year and some months now.
Okay, so you must have some financials then that you could submit. So there must be, and we're not looking for, Companies Act compliance, because we understand that it's a small business, but certainly there must be some financial records and record keeping that you've been doing over the last however many months and that you have. So I would submit those. That just shows, where's your revenue, what's it coming from, what are your expenses, how's the business going?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So would you recommend that we submit registers, like you said, maybe where we note how much we make? Or do you need like a bank financial statement, something like that?
I think that at this stage, if you just want to make a note of exactly what it is, and it's the financial statements or the financial, it's almost like bookkeeping that you might have more than financial statements at this point, then those would be great if you could do those.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. Okay. There's no other raised hands. Dylan, were there any other questions that you came across?
Yes, I did. The first question was, I do apologize. It was by, I don't know if it's a lady, but the surname of the person is Bothma. The person is saying, I'm still in the process of starting my business. So my question is, how can I follow the process and learn to have a better idea of what I have to work for and concentrate on?
Sorry, so I'm going to ask you to have to just, I missed that last bit. So say that again. Sorry, the question.
So, the person is saying that they are in the process of starting their business. So even if they have a good financial backing, are they still, even if they're under the age of 12 months or a year, can they still apply even though they've got good financial backing?
It's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
It's going to be tricky. I've got to be honest. What I would say is apply next year. You know, it's wonderful that you got the financial backing, and that's going to set you up in good stead. But I would apply next year and just wait, because we do have that 12 months for a reason, and we do get a lot of applications. You know, and something else just to add in there as well at the same time is that, you know, I'm sure she won't mind me saying this, but when Ratang did so well, it was she had applied,
Yeah,
right,
so
Ratang?
this time we applied, we didn't even get through to the next round. But the second time we applied, we won. So
there you go. So yeah, I would wait until the following year. If it's just if your business is just starting off, get that under your belt and then apply next year rather. Samira, you're on mute, Samira, so you're just gonna have to unmute yourself there. Oh, I think Samira seems to have gone. Are you back, Samira? I'm afraid you're on mute, so you're going to have to put it into the chat box and then we can pick it up from there. Dylan, anything else that came up?
Another one that came up was another person asked, I haven't been operating for 12 months, for 12 months yet, but my social impact program is extremely solid as well as my business plan. Can I still apply?
I would. That's the same question as the last one, and I think, you know, I would say it needs to be operating for 12 months. So don't go away. Apply next year, and just get a little bit more experience under your belt there.
But maybe just to add there, Andrew, I think we've had a lot of businesses actually applying for a couple of years, not getting in, and then getting in the following year, not just Ratang. So there were many cases like that. So don't lose hope if you don't get in the first round. Absolutely apply again. We even had people in the top 30 that didn't get into the top 10 that had an opportunity again to join the procurement webinar and then got in. So just remain patient and keep on trying, because we're also looking for resilience. So
okay, I'm going to take one more, unless Samira, can you?
Samira is back, yes.
Samira, can you ask your question, and then we'll take Sandile, and then that'll be it for now.
Hi, sorry about that.
Okay.
I just want to find out something. Like, I've been in business over 12 months, but I've been doing markets because I'm I would say fast foods. So recently, I would say 2 months ago, I've started playing around making my own homemade sauce, and I've had customers come up. So I've also got the COA. I've got it for the kitchen as well. I just want to find out about the testing. Can I apply? Because I haven't yet done that. Went through that phase as yet.
I would apply if I was you. If you've got a great product, you know, it sounds to me like it's in process there, and that you're getting everything in order as you go. And we acknowledge, you know, small business, you're not going to have everything sorted right from the start. I think both Bokana and Ratang mentioned that in different ways, either a slight shift in terms of changing the product, like Ratang went from the straight tea to the bags, and Bokana talking about getting a 12-month delay, because, you know, just saying we're working towards certification. So we accept that. So go for it, and then as long as you're working on that, I'm sure we can support you there.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Last question from Sandile.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. Basically, I've been in the market for about just over 12 months now. I've done a test market for an energy drink brand. Basically, as part of the test market, I've been in a few shops, convenient stores, and really we've gained great demand across South Africa. Obviously, access to market is the big issue. But really, my question is about this particular program. Would the listing basically apply both at Food Lovers Market as well as Fresh Store, because obviously for me, both those outlets will make sense, or any other business within the food lovers market if there are also other channels. Thank you.
That's a great question, Sandile, and I think that the product would go where it's most suited. So yours, I mean, yes, we can as an energy drink, it could be listed at Food Lovers Market, but I think we both know that the 350 fresh stops there is really where you want to put your product as people are stopping on their journeys and looking at those energy drinks. So we do have the fresh stop buyers. They will also be there on for the boot camp. And absolutely, if there's a product that we can list in any of our brands, then we'd love to. We've had mead. We had a mead lady once who was in the finals of the top 10, and that was with through Market Liquors and Diamond Liquors. So if there's any product that would work in any of our brands, then obviously we'd love to hear from you. I know that there's one more question. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to take it. Please do pop it into the chat or pop it into or send us an email, because I want to use just the last 2 or 3 minutes you've got. And if I can ask for Tang and Boykana, and I know I'm putting you guys on the spot again, but if I could ask yourselves, and I'm just going to fine. One tip for somebody who's watching this right now, what would that tip be? Maybe it's something that you wish you had known then that you know now, or whatever you want to decide. One tip. Ratang, do you want to go first?
Okay. My tip would be just be prepared. Prepare, for even at this stage of your application process, prepare for it. Put in the effort. Preparation and effort are your best friends to get you through to the top 10 and even potentially as the winner. So yeah, those are my 2 tips. Just prepare and put your best foot forward and put all your effort into giving the best application and learn as much as you can.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ratang. Boykana?
I would say know your numbers. Know your numbers, start understanding your cost, because whether you get to the top 30, the top 10, or you even get listed, if you do not know your numbers, you're going to find yourself in a very tricky situation. And 2, be your own brand ambassador. You need to let the buyers at Food Lovers know that this is a great product. They're not going to do that for you. Nobody's going to do that for you, actually. So love your product, know your product, but know your numbers, because at the end of the day, we are in a profit-making business, and you cannot make impact if you do not make that money. So, yeah.
Wonderful. I just want to say again, a massive thank you to both Ratang and Boykana. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your insights, your journey, for your inspiration. Big thank you as well to Sarika and Jamie from the Social Enterprise Academy for being here, and to all our team, to Dylan, for working everything in the background, and Jean for all your incredible work, and Lucretia and everybody else. A massive thank you, but most importantly, a massive thank you to everybody who's dialed in, who showed an interest in this program. I think, like I said right at the start, we are there to support. The program was designed and set up to really support small businesses to grow their impact, because we want to change lives. We're in business to change lives. It inspires us. It motivates us. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. So if you are thinking about applying, I can promise you it's worth it. Whether you get to the finals or not, the feedback we get from this program is exceptional. And I'm not just saying that from me. Obviously, I am completely biased on the whole program, but genuinely all the feedback that we get from the small businesses is exceptional. And, I can't remember who said it, whether it was Ratang or Boykana, going to other retailers. If you come onto this program and you learn from us and it helps you grow your business in other parts of South Africa and other retailers, and you grow your impact, you know what? We all win. We all win. So thank you again to everybody. Thank you for our speakers. Thank you for everybody behind the scenes, and good luck to everybody. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.